Forrester Creations had never been the same since the accident. The night Steffy Forrester's car went off the Pacific Coast Highway was etched into everyone's mind with brutal clarity: the twisted wreckage, the shattered glass, the authorities declaring there was no chance of survival. The currents were strong that night, and though divers searched for days, no body was ever recovered. But eventually, the family conceded to what they had feared. Steffy was gone. A public memorial followed. Tears were shed. Ridge crumbled. Taylor withdrew. Finn became a ghost of himself, carrying the burden of grief with the quiet desperation of a man who had loved too much and lost it all. Hope took on a larger role at Forrester, while Liam drifted even further from his own compass. Thomas retreated inward, returning to darker impulses. But one truth sat like a ghost in every room Steffy had ever stood in. She had disappeared, but never truly left. What no one knew was that Steffy didn't die. The crash had been real: metal, fire, pain, but survival had come from the most unlikely place. Pulled from the wreckage by a woman driving behind her, a retired French operative named Celeste Dupont, Steffy had been unconscious for days, her memory shattered by trauma. Celeste took her to France, away from headlines and hysteria, believing she was giving the woman a new life. By the time Steffy remembered who she was, weeks had passed. Her world, she realized through online news and whispers from afar, had mourned her. And more than that, moved on. What struck her wasn't the grief of others, it was how swiftly the people she trusted filled the vacuum. Hope stepping into her role at Forrester. Liam consoling himself in Hope's arms. Even Ridge seemed to let the company drift under the influence of Brooke once again. Her absence was convenient for all of them. And once that seed of betrayal took root in Steffy's heart, it blossomed into something that resembled clarity. She did not return. She did not call. She let Steffy Forrester die. In her place was born Elise Maro, a European fashion consultant with dark hair, a sharper tongue, and no ties to any American dynasty. With Celeste's help, she created a new identity, new credentials, and over the course of a year, inserted herself into the European fashion scene. Quietly at first consulting for up-and-coming labels, influencing from the shadows. But then came her break. A mysterious investor offered her the creative director position at Letternite, a boutique fashion house in Monaco with dreams of breaking into the global stage. That investor, of course, was Steffy herself. From behind the mask of Elise, she built the brand with ruthless precision, pulling talent from former Forrester rivals, leaking just enough press to make headlines, and choosing Paris Fashion Week to debut the new line. The date was symbolic: 1 year exactly from the day she died. A rebirth. Back in Los Angeles, Forrester Creations was buzzing about Letternite. Ridge saw the designs and instantly felt a jolt of familiarity. "It's too close to Steffy's instincts," he said in a boardroom meeting, tapping the sketches with a trembling finger. Too close to be coincidence. Hope dismissed it as paranoia. Brooke told him it was grief talking. But Thomas began to wonder. The show in Paris was a sensation. Held in the Louvre's courtyard at midnight, it was candlelit, intimate, and surreal. The final model emerged in a flowing black silk gown with a lace cape identical to a design Steffy had once shown only to her father. Ridge stood in the audience, frozen, mouth open. And then Elise appeared on stage. Same posture, same gaze, different voice, different name. The audience applauded wildly, but Ridge didn't clap. He stared. Across the courtyard, Elise saw him and smiled. Days later, the press was ablaze with speculation. Who was this Elise Maro? Why did she look so much like Steffy Forrester? Conspiracy theories flourished. But Steffy played it with terrifying precision: no interviews, no DNA tests, no acknowledgement of her past. When Ridge confronted her backstage at a private event in Rome, she denied everything. "You're mistaken, Mr. Forrester," she said in a perfect French accent. "I admire your daughter's legacy, but I'm not her. But your eyes, your walk, your work, my eyes are mine, and so is my empire." And she walked away. Back in LA, the ripple effects began. Letter Night poached one of Forrester's lead fabric suppliers. Then their Paris showroom mysteriously closed after Letter Night filed a trademark dispute over their new line. Clients began shifting. Investors started whispering. Liam, hearing the rumors, became obsessed with the idea that Steffy was alive. Finn, however, refused to believe it. He couldn't handle another collapse. But Thomas knew. He followed the signs, the fabric choices, the cuts, the voice in the shadows. And then he saw her alone, near the Seine, just watching the city move. He didn't approach. He just stared, hands trembling, heart racing. Then, from 20 feet away, she whispered just one word over her shoulder without turning around. "Thomas." His heart stopped. That night, he found her. And she didn't run. She told him everything. The crash. The betrayal. The anger. The plan. She had no interest in forgiveness or reunion. She wanted justice. And her definition of justice was total: a hostile takeover of Forrester, an emotional reckoning for Hope, and the complete humiliation of everyone who had replaced her. Thomas, torn between loyalty and guilt, agreed to help. Back in LA, Forrester Creations began to fracture. Hope, feeling threatened, pushed harder into controlling the Hope for the Future line, becoming increasingly aggressive with coworkers. Brooke clashed with Ridge over this paranoia, while Ridge himself became consumed with proving the impossible. Finn, sensing the distance between himself and everyone else, began to unravel. Then came the invite. Letter Night would be launching a surprise satellite line in Beverly Hills, directly across from Forrester Creations. The opening event? A masked gala. Brooke scoffed. Hope rolled her eyes. But Ridge showed up, mask in hand, nerves on fire. When Elise stepped onto the balcony that night, face veiled, voice amplified, she spoke not as a newcomer, but as someone who had come home to bury her past. She removed her mask. And silence fell. Gasps echoed. Some screamed. Ridge dropped his glass. Taylor fainted. It was her. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She simply said, "You let me die. Now you'll watch me live." In the months that followed, Steffy's war escalated. Deals were broken. Lawyers mobilized. Secrets unearthed. She exposed Hope's secret meeting with a foreign investor, threatening Forrester's patents. She leaked photos of Brooke's private communications with a rival brand executive. She lured Donna into an HR scandal. Every move was calculated, every strike surgical. But her heart, though she denied it, wasn't steel. Late one night, Finn showed up at her Paris apartment. He didn't say a word, just handed her a ring, their old wedding band, and walked away. The war had a cost. Her revenge, nearly complete, came to a halt when Thomas turned against her. He couldn't destroy the company his mother and father built. He confessed everything to Ridge, who confronted Steffy one last time. "You got your revenge," Ridge told her. "But you lost us." Steffy looked at her father, the man who'd once said she was his legacy, and for the first time, her mask cracked. "I never had you to lose." As Letter Night prepared to merge with a global conglomerate, Steffy sat alone in her corner office, staring at a photo of Kelly, her daughter. And she realized revenge had left no room for anything else. The final scene faded on her closing her laptop, whispering, "Maybe now I can rest." But in the world of the bold and the beautiful, rest is never final. And the dead never stay buried. Steffy's return had shaken Los Angeles to its core. Forrester Creations, once the untouched Dynasty, now walked on eggshells. Clients defected. Rumors swirled. And the press still called her the Phoenix of Paris, a woman who faked her death to expose her family's betrayal. Only the truth was far darker. She hadn't faked it. They had just let her vanish. Finn hadn't said a word since leaving her that night. He disappeared from Los Angeles entirely, and no one knew where. Ridge had stopped trying to control the narrative, and Taylor moved to Switzerland to find peace, though most suspected it was to escape the shame of having failed her daughter. Thomas was back at Forrester, but with a target on his back. Hope didn't trust him, and Brooke had begun orchestrating a quiet campaign to edge him out while keeping Donna and Katie in line like pawns on a chessboard. But Steffy wasn't done. If Season 1 was revenge, Season 2 was conquest. Her next move wasn't a lawsuit. It was blood. A sealed envelope arrived at Forrester headquarters addressed only to Ridge. Inside was a simple note, "Who is Finn really?" and a DNA test. It revealed a horrifying truth. Jack Finnegan wasn't Finn's father. But it wasn't just a repeat of Sheila's old lie. This time, the results pointed to someone else with Forrester DNA. The tests matched Ridge. Ridge collapsed in his office that day. Blood drained from his face. He ordered retests. 3 of them. All came back the same. Steffy had known for months. Sheila had manipulated a paternity swap years ago, replacing sperm samples at the lab. No one had questioned it, but Steffy did, and now the truth was a live wire. Finn, her husband, was her half-brother. The shockwave ripped through everything. Hope used it as leverage to cast Steffy as unstable and unethical. Brooke insisted Steffy should be removed from any board seat she's compromised. She's too close to the scandal. What kind of example is she to her daughter? But Steffy didn't flinch. She called a press conference. Live. International. Standing alone beneath the Forrester logo, Steffy revealed the truth. Not the DNA tests. Not the paternity chaos. But the rot. The hypocrisy. She exposed Brooke's affair with Ridge during his marriage to Taylor, recorded on a private security feed. She dropped contracts Hope had manipulated behind the scenes to push competitors out of runway spots. She revealed shipping invoices that connected Bill Spencer to stolen Forrester designs fed to him by Donna in exchange for hush money. Her speech was not a confession. It was a declaration: I am not a victim. I am not a survivor. I am the future of this family, whether you like it or not. But then, one more bomb dropped. From the shadows returned Quinn Fuller, resurfaced, reborn and hungry. She approached Letternight with an offer. Merge with her new European jewelry empire in exchange for full creative control of accessories, branding, and runway rights. Steffy hesitated, until Quinn showed her what she had, a second DNA test. One that proved Finn wasn't Ridge's son either. But he was related to Eric Forrester. Not as a grandson. As a son. Decades ago, in a haze of seduction, Eric had had an affair with a young nurse. Sheila had stolen the resulting child and raised him to hate the Forresters from afar. Steffy froze. Everything she knew about Finn, her daughter's father, was a lie. This wasn't scandal anymore. This was dynasty warfare. Back in Los Angeles, Donna confronted Eric. He admitted it. One night. A mistake. A child he never knew survived. The family tore itself apart again. Logan versus Forrester, Eric versus Ridge, Finn versus everyone. And in the chaos, a new alliance was born. Hope and Liam reconnected under the banner of stability, launching their own brand. Legacy by Logan, funded by Bill Spencer, who smelled blood in the water and wanted to take down both Steffy and Ridge. Carter, now pushed out of Forrester legal affairs, joined forces with Zen to start their own independent couture line, attracting investors Brooke once courted. Katie, fed up with being Donna's shadow, sided with Steffy, becoming the new face of Letternites' American relaunch, and proving herself a fierce negotiator on the international stage. But the biggest twist came quietly. Finn returned. Not as Steffy's lover, not as a doctor, but as the legal guardian of Kelly. Armed with proof that Steffy knowingly entered into an incestuous relationship, even unknowingly he filed for full custody. The final episodes of Season 2 spiraled into chaos, courtroom drama, boardroom betrayals, hidden flashbacks of Sheila orchestrating the paternity scam, revealing she never wanted Steffy dead, just erased. Hope, during a press event, accidentally leaked an old therapy transcript of Thomas, reigniting his image as dangerous and unstable. The Forrester family demanded he step down again. Thomas vanished for days, and when he returned, he wasn't alone. He brought with him Ivy Forrester, back from Australia, who had just purchased 10% of Letternites shares and wanted her seat at the table. The season finale ended at a gala. All major players present. The lighting immaculate. Champagne poured. Quinn whispered venom in Brooke's ear. Ridge toasted to family, for better or worse. And Steffy stood at the balcony, eyes narrowed, watching every move. Then the music cut. A gunshot echoed. And Eric Forrester collapsed. Blood on his chest. Silence. Fade to black.